Okay.
I'm standing on top of a mountain.
I think we are live now.
Okay.
I'm calling on
The sharing may actually be a bit difficult.
Okay, lovely viewers. Welcome to True Life Reflection of an African Child. We are live today for the first time. And for the first time, I have a special guest here. So today I am your host. And with me here is Mr. Asana. Mr. Asana is coming to give his live reflection. And so I welcome you, Mr. Asana, to True Life Reflection of an African Child.
Thank you so much and good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am very grateful to have you on the show today. I'm also grateful that you have agreed to share your live reflection with True Life Reflection of an African Child. And so let's get the ball rolling. Could you please tell us a gist about yourself?
Okay. Thank you so much. As you have rightly mentioned, my name is David Asana. I am an entrepreneur, a teacher, an author, and a motivational speaker. And I was someone who was born into typical poverty with a lot of disadvantages. However, growing up, I got to understand that I could change my situation and everything that was happening to me could be changed if I really wanted to move from where I was to the next level. And by the grace of God, I was determined to change my story because anyone who knows the African situation and where I grew up specifically will know that it was not really the best. So by the grace of God, I am moving forward and I am determined to make a change in my generation. That is a little about me.
It is good to hear this from you. And to our lovely viewers, if you are just joining us, send us hi for us to know that you have joined us. Thank you for joining us for today's program. It is good to hear a little about you. Can you give us some educational background about yourself?
Okay. Yes, I was born in the Garutimpani district of the Upper East region of Ghana, where I spent the first 19 years of my life. And where I grew up, actually, I started school at the age of 13 years. So I went to primary 3 at the age of 13 years. In fact, I didn't go to P1, 2 or P1 and 2. I started day nursery at the age of 9, but they were bullying. They used to cause us to fight a lot, and then all those things. They would gather and come together and beat me. So I decided that the way they were beating me, then I won't go to school again. So I stopped at the day nursery, and then I stayed in the house. That was I went to the day nursery when I was 9 years, but because they were bullying, I didn't continue. I stopped. So at the age of 13, and that was in 2003, that was when I really went back to school, and I started schooling at I moved from Melega Primary. That was the first one that I went to the day nursery was Pipira Primary School. It's in Garutimpani. Then I moved to Melega Primary School, where I joined Primary 3 in 2003. And then from there, I continued and I never stopped. So I did not go to day nursery P1 and P2. I just started from P3 at 13 years. And I started working hard, and I was determined that no, I have to make a change because my family background was bad. So from primary, and then I actually was assistant SP in primary. From there, I went to JHS, and then our JHS2 was the first batch. So I was the SP from JHS1 to JHS3 because we were the first batch, so there were no seniors. And at that time, we were really sitting in mat-built classrooms because our classrooms, there were no decent classrooms for us to really sit as a classroom. So the community had to come together and use some mud to build those mud built houses, and they were managing. So anytime there was rain, we had to always run to the rafters at the top and hang there, so that the rain will not enter the windows to be able to disturb us. So that's what we were struggling to do. And so I struggled like that till I completed JHS. And in my school, I was the best with aggregate 12. And then I went on to SHS, Big Boss. And when I got to Big Boss, I pursued science. And by the grace of God, I excelled well. And I went to the university to do biochemistry, but I later found interest in the internet technology. That is just a little about my educational background.
Please, which university did you go for your first degree?
I went to University for Development Studies, UDS.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to hear this. Quite interesting. What were some of the challenges you faced? What were some of the barriers for you starting school at primary 3 and you were so successful?
Okay, so the challenges I faced were that at that time, my father had traveled to the southern part of the country because of the poverty we're experiencing. My father had traveled to the southern part of the country to go and work and then come and take care of us. But he went there and never returned. He went there and then he went and married another woman somewhere. So it was left with myself and my mother. So, and my mother is also disabled. One of her leg is disabled. One of her leg, she is not really strong, so she cannot walk on. She struggled to really walk. So she cannot really do any working. Is really hard for her. So at that time, I was around 13 years in primary 3. So what I was doing is that I was the one who was working and taking care of my younger siblings. So you could imagine someone at the age of 13 working to take care of himself. I started working at 2001 for myself. So I had to work, always farm in the rainy season. So I was always absent from school for most of the days because I had to work on the farm, wheat and all that. Sometimes I'll close and I'm very late for school. So either I go late or I cannot go at all. In the dry season, we used to go and sell onions at a place called Bunkurugu Yonyo. There's a mountain there called, I think they call it, I've forgotten the name, but yeah, it's around the Kambaga escarpment. There's a mountain that we used to climb that mountain every day. So every Monday was always the market day of that place. So every Monday I had to leave my house, we had to always leave the house in the night like 12 a.m. We leave like Sunday night, 12 a.m. By Monday morning, by 10 a.m. we'll be there. So it was about, I think it was about 10-hour journey. So always leave the house in the night, like 12 a.m. and we walk and get to the mountain and climb until the following morning by 10 a.m. that we get to the place. Then after that, we sell the onions, and by 5 to 6 p.m. we begin the journey again. And by the following morning, Tuesday morning, we will arrive back at our hometown. Sometimes if you walk through that journey and you come back and you lie down to sleep, you can't get up. It will take like sometimes 3 days before you can walk, because your legs will get swollen and then it will be so painful anytime you go there, because you will carry the things until I used to carry until my neck, I can't even turn. So we were doing that every week, every Monday. And I had to do that because there was no money to really take care of us. And then the only option available was to carry onions, go there and sell and come back. So every Monday. So it came to a time that my teachers were asking me, SP, why is it that every Monday you don't come to school? And I had no option than to tell them the truth, that the truth is I don't really have help. So every week I had to go and then sell onions, come and take care of myself. That's why every Monday I'm absent. So the teachers really felt what I was going through, but there was nothing they could do to help. So I had to continue that. I did that till I wrote my BEC. So it was not really an easy task. The worst of it all happened in 2007. In 2007, there was a famine in our community. There was no food to buy. Even if you have money, you could not get food to buy. So it came to a time that the hunger was too much that for 3 good days there was no food. My mother did not cook food in the house. So the only thing is we have to go and always cut some leaves, the leaves of just some leaves, and come and then cook it and then eat it like that. No food to eat for 3 good days. Then the other thing that happened too is because my mother is disabled and was also struggling and couldn't really help us. What happened was that she was owing someone in our community, and the person came and took all her things, including her cooking utensils. And then that day, the person took everything that she had. And I even told the woman that I'm pleading with her to give it back to my mother, so that one day when I start working, I will pay her back. But she never listened to me. So she took all my mother's cooking utensils because my mother owed her. And it was all because of the poverty we were going through. So one thing that changed my life was one day I sat down and I was so frustrated. I said, why all these things? Because if you look at it, I asked myself that I'm in the poorest continent in the world, and it is undoubtedly true that Africa is the poorest. If you come to Africa, West Africa is one of the poorest part of Africa, because the top 5 poorest countries in the world, the top 10 poorest countries in the world, 5 of them are in West Africa. You come to West Africa, Ghana, though we are better somehow, but we are still among the poorest. Even if you come to Ghana, I am in one of the poorest regions. Upper East is one of the poorest regions of Ghana. Those who know Ghana very well can testify. If you come to my region, Upper East, my district is one of the poorest. And in those days, if you come to my district, my community was one of the poorest. And if you come to our community in those days, we were the poorest. This one is not an exaggeration. I am telling the truth. Because our community, all of them were having the cows, they were having the animals and all that. But it was only our house that we didn't have. So we didn't have any animal to sell. We didn't have nothing was there. And my mother was disabled. My father was not there. So that was why my situation was the worst. So I asked myself, why all this? My community, we were the poorest. We have nothing. So the suffering was too much. And I was determined that I'm going to do something to change my story. And that was the day I made that very conscious, deliberate decisions. And I started studying seriously that I'm going to change the narrative. And by the grace of God, the narrative is changing today. That's a few of the things I've gone through in life. Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's quite challenging to hear this. Sometimes you think that in life you are the one facing certain challenges, but when you hear somebody own, then you think that your own is even better. I am grateful that despite all the challenges that you face, with the fact that your mother was disabled, you didn't have a dad around to even help you, you were able to get fees for yourself. And today, I think life is quite better for you. And to our lively viewers, if you are just joining us, welcome to Live Reflection of an African Child. We are very sorry that we had to start the program earlier than the time we scheduled on, because we realized that it was too late. And so we started earlier than that. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you so much. Just send us hi for us to know that you have joined us. And please share for other people to join us and listen to the story of an African child. This program is meant to inspire and motivate African youth, especially the less privileged one from Africa. Thank you for joining us, and let's continue the program. So David, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for in life at this stage?
What I am grateful for in life is that I thank God that God has helped. I have been able to identify my purpose and what I really need to do to succeed in life. I am saying this because majority of the youth in today's world don't really understand the true meaning of life. Many people live and they never know the true reasons why they are on this earth. They don't discover their purpose. And because they don't discover their purpose, they end up dying without really doing what they were brought on this earth to do. So sometimes when I think about it, because research has shown that over 90% of people live and die without discovering their purpose and who they really are. And it is a reality. And so I have taken my time. In fact, after my bachelor degree or after my national service, I was not sure of where my place is in life. And I was wondering about like any other person. But I started studying about life, thinking about life, researching about life. And I said that I want to really know what I was really brought on this earth to do. And when I discovered my purpose, I tell you, it is that thing that has changed the narrative that I am telling you about. Because if I did not discover my purpose, I would have become an average person like any other one, like any other person. But when I discovered my purpose and I kept a lot of effort to develop myself in that area by discovering my talent, developing it over and over and over and over and over again. Now, people are searching for me from most parts of the world. And who am I to have had that privilege? If I did not discover my purpose and something unique that I can do that others cannot do. So it is something that I'm always so grateful to God that He has actually opened my eyes to know the truth. And it wasn't really easy. I read 50 books before I could I could get a clear idea about my vision and what God wanted me to do in life. So discovering my purpose wasn't an easy task. It took me 50 books, 50 good books, a full year to discover that. And I'm telling you, 90% of people don't go through that, and a lot of them never discover who they truly are. So I am grateful to God that I've discovered my purpose and I am pursuing it, because discovering it is one thing and pursuing it is another. Some people know within their heart that what they are doing is not what they are supposed to do. They know where they have been, they have identified their purpose, but pursuing it because of their current path, they are afraid to make that move. And I tell you that most of them die and they are regretting. And I thank God that I'm not part of such. So that's what I'm grateful for in life.
Can you tell us what do you do now? What job do you do? Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is my office. As you can see, I'm really into entrepreneurship training, digital advertising, and that is what I mainly do now, digital advertising. I help to connect businesses to the online world like Facebook, Instagram, Google. How to sell more on Facebook, Instagram, Google. These are the things that I do mostly. I really, as I told you, I discovered that my passion was to do business relating to the internet businesses and then all those things, all those related things. So I took up that passion and I started writing, and I'll be showing you one of my books that I have written. And so I'm now into entrepreneurship training, digital advertising. I write. I also teach as a teacher. I teach, and then I also
Which school do
speak
you
at
teach,
events.
please?
I teach at Tema Secondary School.
In Accra.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the things that I do, and this is also my company that I do training for people who want to really advertise online, Facebook, Instagram, and then Google. I do that. And I also write business plans and proposals. Like if someone wants a business plan or proposal to get some grant or funding, I can write for them, or if just to even start a business, because a lot of people fail in business because they don't prepare very well. So I help them prepare enough to know what they are going to face before they even start. So that's what I do. I also do I also register businesses. So if someone wants to register a business, I also help them. I take up and I register for them. So I do all those things.
Okay, it's nice to hear that you started from nowhere and today I think what you have achieved, you are more than a warrior. True Life Reflection of an African Child celebrates you. Despite your background, the challenges that you face today, you are somebody. And I think you are independent.
By the
I
grace of
want to
God.
ask some few questions.
Okay.
When you were talking about your basic school, you mentioned certain challenges there. Anytime it was about to rain, you had to hide somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge now? What is the situation of the school there?
Okay. As of now, the school has a very good building. In fact, before I left in 2008, World Vision International came to the school. They really went through the villages in the Upper East region and selected some schools that their conditions were in a very deplorable state. And my school was one of them. And when my school was selected, they actually came to interview some of us, the students, and I was the SP at that time. So they interviewed me to find out the challenges we're facing as students. And I actually outlined everything to them. I can still remember on that day, some of the teachers were trying to come in to talk, but they said they don't want teachers to talk. They want students to talk so that we can give the real situation, because teachers might spice up everything to just because they want them to come and build. So I was the one that they interviewed. So I told them everything that we were going through and then the kind of suffering that we're going through. So after I spoke to them, they were really touched. So at the end of the day, they sponsored our school and they came to build, I think they built the primary and GHS, or they built the GHS, they built 3 classroom block for them with library and everything that they need. And then the primary 2, I think they built about a 12 classroom unit block for them, either 6 or 12. I cannot remember the number, but they built very nice classrooms for them with boreholes and then everything. So now the school is better, far better than what we went through. So unfortunately, the time they finished the building was 2009, and that was the year I just completed SHS, so we couldn't really enjoy the new building. So, but we thank God that we were there when it started, and by now, as of now, others are enjoying it, and they are not going through what we were going through.
So I still want to ask another follow-up question. At the time you wrote junior high school, how many of you were able to enter the secondary school, especially girls?
Yeah, I think we were 51 in all who wrote BECE that year. But I cannot remember the exact number, but I remember it's 20 something people went to SHS, and 5 of them were girls. We were about 21 who went to SHS, and 5 were girls. So it was about 16 boys and then 5 girls.
Do you have any idea about your colleagues who could not go to SS? Where are they now?
Okay, most of them, I don't really know where they are now and what they are probably doing. But, well, some have gone into farming, some have gone to learn trades, some are still working. Maybe they probably don't have something to do now. Yeah, but I don't have the record of all of them.
Yes, you made mention that one of your successes story that you wrote some books on your own. Can you tell us a little bit about those books?
Okay. The book that I wrote that is changing lives around the world today is this one. The title is Achieving Your Greatest Dreams. Achieving Your Greatest Dreams. It is a book about personal development, a book about discovering your purpose in life, a book about how to move from where you are to where you want to be, a book about discovering one's God's given talent. And it is the sum of the wisdom I have learned from my research of the world's most influential people, both past and present, the most spectacular events in world history that have caused a tremendous change to humanity, the greatest philosophical thinkers, the greatest political leaders, the greatest entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 companies, and people who have struggled and rose from adversity to tremendous success. I have documented here plus my own life experiences. And I tell you, anyone who goes through this book will not be an ordinary person, because I really took time to write it very well. It's 365 pages, and the title is Achieving Your Greatest Dreams: How to Move from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. One main thing that inspired me to write this book is, as I told you, I suffered a lot to discover my purpose and to decide what I want to do in life. And I think when I do a lot of interviews, I realize that a lot of people are going through that, but they don't have a clear idea about how to really discover who they are, to move from where they are to where they want to be. Majority of them, for example, in our society, many parents don't really study their children to determine what is good for them, but most of them will always say, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, I want you to be this and that. And at the end of the day, what they are choosing for the child is not what the child really wants. That's the problem. It happens 90% of the time. If you are going to do an interview and interview people, especially those who have gone to university or whatsoever career they are pursuing, they will tell you that either they saw others choosing it and they also choose, or maybe their parents said they should do this and that. Majority of them don't have a clear reason why they are doing that course, and they end up wasting their life as useless people. But they have a potential that if they had discovered themselves better, they could have done better. And this book is written to empower such kind of people. I have written the life story of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the man who made America a superpower. How that man was disabled. He was sitting on a wheelchair and finally could actually win a presidential election. You can imagine someone who could not stand up because he was affected by polio at that time. There was no cure for polio in those 1950s. So he was affected by polio, and then he couldn't really walk. He was sitting on a wheelchair and then became America's president. He led America to the Second World War and they won. And then it is that man who made America a superpower. I also wrote about Natalie Dutoit. She's a South African swimmer who is having only one leg. She's amputated. And she could go on to the Olympics to win against able-bodied people with 2 full legs. She had only one leg. She went on to win. I've written about Helen Keller. I've written about the Wright brothers, who were just JHS dropouts, who went on to invent the aeroplane, when there were people with PhD in physics and engineering who couldn't think of anything like that. So as I said, I won't talk much, but this book is a book that will break anyone's mental barriers and help the person to really move from where he or she is to get to where they really want to be in life. It's a powerful book that is on Amazon. I also sell copies, and then the ebooks are available. Those who really want to buy should contact me, and there is a lot about that. But I believe that those who want to know more should contact me. My Facebook page name is David Asana. When they contact me, they can send me a DM, either my page or my profile. When they send me a message, I'll be able to reply them and give them details. Or they should contact you, and then you reach to me, and then I'll help them. They can also check on Amazon to buy the ebook as well. So that's a little about the book.
This is really a powerful book. I would love to read it as well.
Okay.
David, I think you have done so much, and I don't even know what to say. If I could say anything, I think the sky is not even your limit. You can go above that.
Okay. Thank you so much for that too. And I also believe by the grace of God, I'll go far.
Yes. I want to ask another follow-up question. You mentioned something about you have a YouTube page or something like that. I don't know what you do there.
Okay. I have a YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is David Asana. And in my YouTube channel, I do presentations on business. I do about business. I do videos about business, entrepreneurship, personal development, motivation. Because as I told you, one major problem is in Africa here, those things are not there. Those things are not there as compared to the Western world. So a lot of people don't really get those kind of things. This is the reason why our innovation is low. 3 days ago, I was checking up something and I realized that in Africa here, the most innovative country in terms of entrepreneurship, the most entrepreneurial country is South Africa. And their position was 51st. That was one company that did the ranking in the US. And I said, if South Africa is #1 in Africa and they are 51st in the world, it's so embarrassing. And the truth is that in Africa, we are not innovative. So I created this channel to really help people who really want to learn about business, people who really want to learn about personal development. They want to develop themselves. They don't want to die as ordinary people, but they want to make a mark on this planet before they die. That one day they will say that they also came and lived and also left a legacy. Anyone who really want to have an outstanding success, especially in the area of business, life, entrepreneurship, this YouTube channel is for such a person. So I will encourage all those viewers that if they are done, they should quickly go check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, and then they should also like it and share it among their friends. And I tell them that when they go there, they are going to be blessed several times. So that is a little about the YouTube channel. There are really powerful words from top thinkers around the world, business secret and life secret from the world's most successful people. So that's a little about the channel.
Yes, thank you very much, David, for telling us this. And to our lovely viewers, thank you for joining. We appreciate it so much. Unfortunately, we had to change the time because we saw that 9 p.m. Ghana time was quite late. So we decided to start the program earlier than that. If you have just joined, we invite you to share the program, follow the page, and like as well. Also show hi. If you appreciate the story that David have just shared with us, you can send David a word. David will reply you later after the show because of time. David, it's quite interesting to hear from you and your background, where you come from. The fact that you didn't even have someone to help you, but you have been able to make it. What do you have to tell the African youth, and maybe somebody who is who has a similar background like yours? What is your word for them?
Okay, my little word is that anyone can achieve anything if he is determined to pursue it. Most people think that because they are born, they grew up from a poor home, they didn't have the connections, they cannot really go that far as compared to their colleagues in those advanced who grew up from very good backgrounds. It is not true. You can compete with anyone from whatever background and you will make it. It is only time. And I tell you that anything that you want to do is the determination. Have a vision for anything you want to do. Getting the vision is the number one thing. If you get the vision, you need the motivation. A lot of people have the vision, but because they don't even write it down, it's not a clear vision to them. And because they don't write it down, they are not determined to achieve it. There is no deadline. They are not determined. But if anyone really wants to achieve any outstanding success, the person should have the vision. The person should pursue it with all the commitment, with all the enthusiasm, with all the determination, and really study how it is done. We have most people really want easy success. They don't want to go through the rigorous procedure that they are supposed to go through to succeed. It is the reason why we have a lot of people who are looking for shortcuts today. If I tell you what I'm doing today, when I began, it took me so many months. I never made any profit. I was run at a loss, but I was determined to make it. And I was always working harder, learning from my mistakes, learning from people who have made it and implementing those ideas. And I tell you, it took me less than a year to start seeing a breakthrough. So I'm going to tell anyone who really wants to have an outstanding success that it doesn't matter your background. Just be determined and look for people who have done it and find out how they did it. And I want to add that I plead with all those watching me to read. Majority of people don't read. It has been said that if you read one book a month, you will be a national expert in that particular field in 5 years' time. And if you can read 2 books a month, that time is half of the 5 years. If you can read 3 books a month, that is about 1/3 of the 5 years. So what do I mean? I mean that the more books you read, and the more you really read them and practice what is said, your success is going to be faster than any other person. I have done a lot of things within 1 year than what people achieve in 5 years because I actually discovered this secret and I applied it. And I tell you, things move faster than I ever expected. So the truth is that anyone who is determined should get time, read, and have time for his or her personal development, and it is going to help him or her. And it doesn't matter the background. If I tell you what I'm doing now, people see me and they think I got to some. I grew up and I have some better background, but it never happened. I was from, as I said, one of the poorest homes. My parents were uneducated. They have not gone to even primary one. And my community, I tell you that it can take 1 week and you won't see a car there. It's a typical village. I used to walk for 1 hour before I go to school. And with all those things, I am doing great things today. So the truth is that anyone can make it. It doesn't matter your background. You have to just study how it is done and be determined. Even those who have outstanding success, many of them are those who never grew up from good backgrounds. Those who had all the things they need in life, their parents are rich, they have all those things, are the people who don't even go far because they don't think hard. But those who grew up from those poor surroundings and are determined are those who make it. So I tell you that anyone has the opportunity to make it if that person is determined enough. There is a lot, but as I said, they can follow up my YouTube channel and follow and learn a lot. And my Facebook pages, I constantly put up those messages there every day. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much, David, for these words. What I have heard and what I've learned is that there is no shortcut in life. To the African youth, there is no shortcut in life. You cannot sleep overnight and get up and see money flowing somewhere for you. David said you have to work hard. You have to make plans and you have to be focused. The challenges will come, but if you are determined, you will surely achieve your purpose and you will surely be successful. So you have to stay focused. David, it is good to have you on the show today, True Life Reflection of an African Child. In fact, we celebrate you. You are a warrior. You really fought very well. And today, you are not just from the guy from that village. The last time I saw from your Facebook page, I saw some pictures there. And today you are living in Accra and you are doing so great in life. We celebrate you for your achievement, and that we hope that others watching, and especially those from similar background like yours, will learn something and be inspired to achieve more than even what you are doing now. Thank you for joining us for the show. I appreciate you so much and that you have agreed to share this with us. We hope the youth from Africa will learn and be inspired from your story. To our lovely viewers, thank you for joining. This program couldn't have been possible without you. Thank you. Share the story to others. You can contribute your quota for the world to hear the story about the African child. Yes, it is not everyone that goes through this. The majority of us go through the same situation. Has the trend changed? What is happening in villages now in Africa? How are the children doing there? These are some of the things we should try to help up. These are some of the things we should try to fight. And David, I want to encourage you to find out, how are your village students doing? How is their performance now? Are they doing very well in studies? When they write the BEC, are they able to go to senior high schools and all that? It is good that when you come out, you try to look back and try to give a little help to them. It may not just be physical, but a word of encouragement could help these children. And so I encourage you, David, anytime you find yourself in Garu, just try to pass by at your basic school where you completed and tell the children about yourself. I'm sure they will be encouraged and encouraged. They will be encouraged to study better and then to become good leaders in future. Thank you very much once again, and
Thank you.
bye. To our lovely
Bye.
viewers, thank you for joining, and bye for today.
Okay. End it.